Hi, welcome to a new vlog. It's been quite a while. I haven't talked to a camera in I want to say a year. It's been a very long time. So this feels very unfamiliar. I'm going to be a bit rusty talking to you guys. I have been vlogging here and there, bits and pieces, but there's also been a lot of changes in my life. Very exciting changes, a lot going on. I graduated last year. I started my first full time job, and then I moved to Cologne for my job, and then I moved in Cologne. So I moved twice last year. I've been living here for almost a year now. I'm kind of settling in. I've gotten to the fun part of moving, which is decorating. So that's been great. But um, I've also been wanting to talk to you guys about what I've been reading. I've been reading a lot of good books recently, and one specific book has been at the forefront of my mind, and I've been thinking a lot about this one after finishing it. So, I've recently finished The Last Sane Woman by Hannah Riegel. I can't tell you how much I enjoyed reading this book, so let's talk about it. I need my notes for this. So basically, The Last Sane Woman begins in the present day, and we follow Nicola Long, our main character, or one of the main characters. And Nicola lives and works in London, where she is an unsuccessful ceramicist or potter, whatever you want to call it. She basically works a lot of odd jobs to finance her art. One day, from a bus window, she sees posters for the Feminist Assembly, which is an archive of women artists. She goes to talk to the archivist working there and says that she wants to learn about women who can't make things. And this is also the first line of the book, which is a great opening line if you ask me. This is basically also a nod to Nicola herself because she can't make things. She's an unsuccessful potter, ceramicist, and in wanting to learn about women who can't make things, she's basically saying, I want to learn about myself. The archivist then points to a box filled with letters from a ceramicist called Donna Dreaman, and the letters are addressed to her childhood friend, Susan Badley, from the 80s. So these letters are from the 80s. The novel basically then alternates between three point of views. We have Nicola in the present, we have Donna in the past, and then we have Susan in the past also, but also in the present. I really enjoyed the structure of this novel. You can clearly see the poetic influence of Hannah Riegel's writing in some parts of the novel. In the letters that Donna writes, you can kind of see the writing take a poetic turn. So Donna is in her letters, she's very energetic, almost hyper, and also very snarky. But then we obviously get her point of view as well, and it we then really see what is actually happening and going on in her life. And it creates this sort of contrast between what she's actually experiencing and what she is conveying to Susan in these letters. I think it's safe to say that Donna's voice is very different to Nicholas and to Susan. So then we see Nicola really enjoying Donna's letters, Donna's words. Yeah, she's kind of starting to obsess almost over the letters, and she starts noticing these uncanny almost similarities between herself and Donna, what they're both experiencing. They're both from the same hometown. They're both ceramicists, not very successful. And then there's also the difference of Donna's life and Susan's life. Donna is obviously this very almost eccentric woman who's just kind of bouncing around, doing odd jobs, trying to finance her art. And then there's Susan, who's living this kind of conventional life, working in a bank, starting a family. This is not a spoiler. I'm pretty sure it's not a spoiler. But at the beginning of the novel, we learn that Donna commits suicide. Then in the present, we see Nicola kind of picking up on that and trying to use Donna for her own means. So this is definitely one of the most important, I would say almost, points that this novel is trying to make is it's criticizing how we react and how we treat the work of women artists, that there's this trend of posthumous reception of work from dead women, which we really see everywhere nowadays. I also read in an interview or in a review that her work seems to have engaged with, I guess you could call it, Virginia Woolf's A Room of One's Own, which I haven't read yet, but I know the gist of it, because she does mention the importance of having a room and basically the impossibility of making ends meet and making rent in this in a city like London. And she mentions this a lot in the book, which is quite interesting. And she does this through the character of Donna, but also Nicola. We see this a lot in Donna just bouncing around again. I use I use this word quite a lot, but it's literally what she does. The last aspect, which I loved about this book, Hannah Riegel describes. I'm very big on descriptive writing. She has this way she describes the labor that goes into pottery and also the discipline that goes into pottery. She describes what it actually takes. There's a lot of like sequences of her just describing her characters like kneading the dough and cleaning up and doing this, and how how Donna's hands feel afterwards, or these little specific details that just frame the novel and give it so much more depth. So yeah, that's that. The Last Sane Woman. I really enjoyed this book. Definitely recommend if you're interested. Um,
He called his creation man. There's some fun going on in this story.
You tänker så fast du kör med fast
I swear I need to relearn how to act in front of a camera. I can't. I feel so awkward. But I just wanted to check in. It's been a few days since I've last talked to you guys, and I'm about to go on a short trip to Istanbul with my family and some friends, which has kind of become sort of a tradition, if you could even call it that. I think the last vlog I posted, there's also a trip to Istanbul in that vlog. We try to go every year, and we've kind of established a group, and everyone, tries to make time for that because we don't see each other a lot. This particular group, everyone's kind of strewn across the country. So it's nice to have these days in Istanbul, especially because I love that city. It's so great. A change of scenery is gonna do me some good. Work has been kind of grueling. Also, January has felt like it's been longer than it needs to be. So I'm happy this month is ending, and I'm looking forward to February, and I like that I'm going to be starting the month in a different country with my loved ones. So yeah, I'll probably be bringing a book with me. I'm currently reading, or I'm about to start really. It lasts forever and then it's over. which I kind of know what it's about, but I'm also going in blind, sort of. So yeah, really looking forward to that. I'll probably check in after because I know that I will get my hands on some books there. Istanbul has a lot of great bookstores. And yeah, I can't wait. And I probably won't be vlogging that much, to be honest. So let's see whatever makes it into this vlog of that trip.
Oh nein, ist die süß. Familie geht gar nicht. Warte.
Değerli yolcularımız lütfen
Und alle 2 Minuten angehalten, weil er auch so. Und jetzt im Februar, also wenn wir jetzt wiederkommen.
Du kommst in meinen Vlog so.
Okay. It's welcome back to Germany, to cold, cold, dreary Germany. I really did not vlog as much as I thought I would in Istanbul. I doubt we'll be going back again in January because it was genuinely so rainy. But nevertheless, I think we all had a great time still. So yeah, I wanted to check in before I end the vlog here, and talk about what I've been reading and what I got in Istanbul as well. I just have to kind of sort through my stacks here. Okay, so I did tell you guys and show and kind of vlogged a little bit about how I read It Lasts Forever and Then It's Over. I really enjoyed the depiction of grief in this one and how it can also, I guess, in this scenario, kind of echo in the afterlife as well. I think just a really solid read about grief and just a kind of very different depiction of it, which I haven't read about or seen anywhere. Definitely recommend. Okay, moving on to what I got in Istanbul. Apart from 2 Turkish books, which I do not know where I've put right now, I got 2 other books, which I'm very excited about. First, I got Winter Stories by Ingvild Rishoy. It's translated from the Norwegian. I probably butchered her name. I'm so sorry. And I have to admit, I have already read this book. Yeah, this is like my first foray into Norwegian literature, and I really liked it. So this book contains 3 short stories. And I think, honestly, the blurb describes it in the best of ways. So the author paints 3 big-hearted, indelible portraits of life on the fringes of society and the very human desire to take care of those closest to us, even at risk to ourselves. I recently read somewhere that this was actually about another Norwegian author, which I will also be talking about in a minute, funnily enough. But someone wrote that the stories of Norwegian authors really live in the mundane. And I think that's such a beautiful way to put how these stories are very human stories and probably stories that we don't even think about most of the time. And yeah, very simple but very beautiful writing. I really enjoyed this. And then I also got my first Annie Arnaud book, Exteriors. I've been kind of putting off getting into this author because there's just so much. And I also kind of wanted to read her in French, to be honest, because I do speak French. But yeah, I saw this and then I just could not resist. And as you can see by my ribbon, I also started it yesterday. And the introduction alone, I've read like one chapter, but the introduction alone has me regretting not reading her earlier. Yeah, this is basically just an account of whatever I guess Annie sees in her daily life. Just these very short stories of other people. But I do want to read you a paragraph from the introduction, which I believe sums up the gist of this book very well. I believe that desire, frustration, and social and cultural inequality are reflected in the way we examine the contents of our shopping trolley or in the words we use to order a cut of beef or to pay tribute to a painting. That the violence and shame inherent in society can be found in the contempt a customer shows for a cashier or in the vagrant begging for money who is shunned by his peers, in anything that appears to be unimportant and meaningless simply because it is familiar or ordinary. Our experience of the world cannot be subject to classification. In other words, the feelings and thoughts inspired by places and objects are distinct from their cultural content. Thus, a supermarket can provide just as much meaning and human truth as a concert hall. I have no other words. Yeah, I've only read one chapter. I'm really looking forward to read more. Yeah, and that's my very small Istanbul book haul. But then, in the past few days since I've been back, I got another book by a Norwegian author, very unsurprisingly influenced by the cover I saw on Instagram. I got The Morning Star by Karlov Knausgaard. I'm very much looking forward to this one as well. And I can't believe I haven't read any Norwegian literature until now. I guess Winter Stories was my first foray into that, and I'm looking forward to reading more of Knausgaard. So yeah, that's that. And I think this is where I'm also going to end the vlog. Thank you for watching, and hopefully I'll see you soon.